Well, hello folks. Glad you tuned in to watch a little bit. This is a video that's sort of a response to the one comment on my last video about my new Squareness gauge and how it measured irregularly on my cylinder square, and how I got some unusual results measuring squareness of these two machinist squares that I have. Well, Stephen Lang of Shark River Machine had asked, had I compared this to the cylinder square by this method, and I brought a flashlight to do that. I can't really show it to you guys, I don't think. The batteries are going now. I was using this earlier today. And if I go up and down, and I've got it tight, this isn't ideal because it's got discrete LEDs in it, but what I see is there's a bit more gap and then it narrows down. As you will see in the second part of this video that I filmed actually earlier than this part, it indicates that this is the Polish Rafon brand Polish machinist square that's solid, and it is tilted somewhat inward. The other machinist square that I had that did not measure too well, put it down. This one on inspection, I have not bothering to do too much, because what I find is just running my finger along here, there's nicks and dings that, and at least one that I think would raise a burr that would cause this not to sit. I mean, I don't feel any rocking, but I don't think it's sitting square. And I think I need to look at the condition of the both sides of this blade too. This, there's some little bit of feel and there's some goop on it. Probably need to go around and clean this one up a little bit, just physically, or just chemically type cleaning. For many years it had the price sticker was taped to this side, and I never removed it. Didn't use this a great deal. But as you will see, this one's not square and will involve some grinding to fix someday, if I ever do want to bother to grind it. I would say this is part of a three-piece set. I think I have a 2 and a 4-inch solid machinist square laying around, and from the same purchase, and I don't think I spent $25 on them 25 years ago. So thinking about how to set it up for grinding, I'm not sure it's worth money. One thing I'll note, I don't know that I could ever show here, but I do some testing like this, but in doing so I noticed that the sides to the top of the my granite surface plate are not anywhere near square. That end has got to be at least 60-70 thousandths out over the 3 inches or so that this measures. And it's a parallelogram that way. Not that that should matter. For my purposes, and for anybody I've ever seen use a surface plate, it's that this surface is flat, this top surface. What the sides do relative to that is pretty immaterial. But I thought it was kind of interesting to notice that it was not square to itself there. So consider this an intro, and then don't worry too much if there's 2 intros. There won't be an extensive one on the next part. Thank you very much. See you all later. Oh, howdy people. I'm going to make a video here in response to some comments, not that I took offense to any of the comments, but comments made by Steve Lang, Shark River Machine, about my last video about my Squareness indicator. Now, I noted some discrepancy, I thought, in measuring squareness on the here on my cylinder square. That's my reference. Now what I'm going to do, check it again. Now there's the adjustable part here, that's the shoe, I guess I'll call it. I pull it up slightly off the base, haven't moved the top, and okay, and I'll zero, and I'm looking at this from an angle when I zero, so it may be different, but I want to guess that that's about 0. Hopefully you guys can read it. That's, peak point, and note it's on the alignment here. I'm going to take this, I'm going to slide it in at 90 degrees to that point, and there. Now hopefully I'm not affecting anything other than the screw, just pushing it tight up against things and not making things flex. And you can see it's pretty much, very much the same, maybe 1 or 2 microns, remembering this is a 100th millimeter reading dial indicator, which would be 10 microns per division. So we can estimate micron readings to about probably 2 microns. So there, and we're getting very nearly the same. I'm looking at it with quite a bit of parallax, but very nearly the same reading. And then we'll keep rotating this, and now we've checked ordinal directions. And it, again, I have to, I get it right, and it looks about the same reading, and it might be 1 or 2 microns off. Well, a micron's 40 millionths of an inch. I'm not worried. So the square, this is indicating the square is square. The square is calibrated. This is, for this setting, it's calibrated that it's this is reading square when that is just about 0 within a little bit. So then we the next thing we measured was my this is a Polish, hopefully you can see it says Poland, Rafan MKS SA150/2, and I have a 3 square set I bought probably 30 years ago, inexpensively. I'm guessing MSC, when they still had a storefront in Denver, warehouse storefront. So we'll pull this in, and I'm having a little trouble but I'm getting a reading of about, looks to me about 4/100ths of a millimeter off of 0. Let's see, and we're pushing it in. So this is about 4/100ths. It's not, let's see, make sure I'm thinking about this right. If I pick up, yeah. So that direction of reading is telling me that this and this is tilted over the length 4/100ths of a millimeter this way. Depending on setup and where I set it up on here, and maybe the cleanliness, I'm getting numbers maybe as low as 3.5 to 3, and if I read it slightly up, it goes down, which would be logical. So we'll just stay with the 4/100ths. Now, I've gone along and you'll just have to take my word for it. I've measured this distance with micrometer, and I have not measured this distance actually, but all my measurements with this, and I'll show you some that we'll do with a dial indicator. Now I'm going to move this off, get it out of the way, and set this over here. Now this is another Mitutoyo, which is same brand here. Sorry, I shook the camera there. Mitutoyo dial test indicator. Now this is I don't know that I can get it to 0. So now this is a half thousandth reading indicator. So each mark is half a thousandth, or 5/10, which is just a bit 5/10. Of course, each mark on here is about 4/10. This is 5/10. So we're going to slide this along, and you see I get about 1,000th reading. Now maybe it's drifted a 1/10 or 2 one way or the other, and I'm trying to keep it on here and not touch too much, but pretty much now I can see it's starting to fall off, perhaps just a little bit out here on the end. I could probably do this better setup, but basically this is parallel to this, probably within 2/10 at worst. I'm reading, trying to make sure I'm not touching anything, and I'm getting a reading of around 1,000th from 0. And we'll slide around here and try this again, and I'm reading about the same, half a thousandth, and it reads pretty consistently. So this is parallel, this is parallel. It looks like my square is up to 1,000th and a half or so too small, which would mean I need to grind this area, which when I get my surface grinder running we'll look at. But that I'll try to edit this into a decent video. Thanks for watching.